Buenos días,
Good afternoon,
estimados accionistas, señoras y señores.
dear shareholders,
Les doy la
ladies
bienvenida a esta Junta
and
General
gentlemen.
Ordinaria de
Welcome to
Accionistas.
this
En nombre del Consejo de
stakeholders
Administración y el mío propio, les
meeting in the name of the
agradezco su presencia.
Board of Directors, and on my own behalf, I thank you for your trust and for your attendance. This panel is made up by the CEO, Mr. Javier Andrés, the President of the Appointment, Retribution, Corporate Government Commission, Audit and Compliance Commission, as well as the Secretary and the Vice Secretary of the Council. The rest of the councillors of the members of the board are sitting at the first row in this room. I give now the floor to Mr. Secretary. Good morning. The board has been duly called through the preceptive publication of an advertisement on the website of CNMV and the Inspection Journal on the 26th of May 2016. According to what's provided by Article 519 of the Capital Corporate Law, no as agreed by the Council of Administration, we have required the notary here to write the notary minutes of this meeting. And according to Article 203.2, it is not necessary to have this board approving the minutes. We have had all the information provided on Article 508 of this corporate law. It's all included in the website, and we also have provided a forum for shareholders where access is available for everyone. The proposal for agreements have been made independently, and we have provided the notary all the contents of all of them. All the information on capital of the board so far are these. There are 161 shareholders holding 34,774,007 shares, which is 19%. There are 1,071 shareholders represented with 9,396,823 shares, 51%, and it amounts to 1,232 shareholders and 125 millions, which is 20% capital as a quorum. We are about to finish the counting of the last cards, and we're going to read the final quorum. On the quorum provided, the data, we have accounted for all the data held by the delegates. Thank you very much, Mr. Secretary. After hearing the provisory data for attendance and the call, I declare this board duly constituted on the second call, and we hereby start the session. I give the floor to Mr. Notary Germán von Willem Rovira. I would like to ask you whether there is any shareholders having any reservation or complaints regarding the data shown. Are there any objections? If there are no objections, we can proceed. Mr. Secretary is going to explain the procedure we're going to follow related to the shareholders' interventions. I hereby inform of the following. If any shareholders decides to intervene related to the points on the agenda or about the interventions provided since the last meeting of the board, or to make any proposals outside the agenda, they will have to let their hostesses know about this. And I would like to ask the shareholders to do so in advance in writing with the papers provided by the hostesses. Likewise, I would like, if you would like to have your intervention stated in the minutes, you will have to make sure it is stated. If you want to use the floor, you will be able to do this after the CEO. And for that, when your name is mentioned by the board, you will have to go to the central aisles. Afterwards, it will be replied by the panel. I now give the floor to Mr. Javier Andrés, CEO. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, dear shareholders. I'm now going to review the main aspects of 2016 results, and we are going to assess the positive evolution of our company. After that, I will provide some examples on the main aspects of the operating transformation plan for Indra, depicting or representing some of the key elements to strengthen our company, as done over the last 2 years. We have had net benefits of 70 million euros, as opposed to 641 million registered in 2015. In 2016, we had sales volume of 2,709 million, which is minus 3% in local currency if we take into account the negative impact in the exchange rate, which was 61 million euros. For transportation and defense, we've had a growth in sales of 1% in local currency, penalized by the deceleration on the third quarter due to the events happening with railroads. We've had a 5% sales drop also in local currency, affected by what happened in Brazil in the businesses and also the most selected criteria in recruitment. At the same time, certain dynamics have not benefited their business due to the price of oil and other issues such as the delay of tenders in Spain. We have grown by 6% in local currency in terms of recruitment, and this growth has been reduced by the specific descent of speed, and as opposed to the previous year associated to specific projects related to the Ministry of Defense in Spain. The operating data decreased by 9% in 2016, down to 2,500 million euros, and it's had an impact by the decrease in sales. We've had expenses which are 7% less and 8% less in our staff. This reduction in our staff is due to the staff optimization plan implemented in the second semester of 2015. We've improved in 2016, as shown at all levels in the turnout.
Profitability increased in 40% in 2016, which is an increase of 4.8 percentage points. EBITDA reached 229 million euros, well above the 131 million recorded in 2015, despite the contraction in sales. So the EBITDA has been placed at 8.5% with an improvement of 3.9 percentage points vis-à-vis 2015. The positive evolution of the projects provision in 2015, the efficiency plans, as well as the relative improvement in the profitability of projects, has influenced the increase of the direct margin in the course of the year. Below the direct margin, the optimization programs have led to the additional expansion of the EBIT margin. This has allowed us to reach a recurring EBIT of 162 million euros, a margin of 6% over sales against the 1.6 in 2015, despite including in 2016 49 million new provisions for costly projects. As mentioned above, the company has able to revert the deterioration of profitability, reaching in 2015 a positive net result of 70 million euros. The evolution of profitability, together with the improvements implemented in cash flow management, are clearly transferred to the financial situation of the company. I will now review the evolution of the main indicators of the balance and the cash flow. The free cash flow in 2016 is 184 million euros against the 50 million negative of 2015. Excluding the impact of the restructuring of staff of 51 million and outgoing payment for costly project provision in 2015, the generation of free cash flow is 300 million. The operative cash flow prior to the variation of circulation cash flow is 228 million against 151 million negative of 2015. This is the result of the operational improvements and the impact of non-recurring issues registered in 2015. The net operating cash has diminished up to 33 million in 2016, equivalent to 5 days of sales from the 232 million December 2015, which represented 30 days of sales. This is the result of the lower volume of sales, the higher level of collection regarding sales, the management of supplies, and the reclassification of some debts with short and long-term clients. Finally, the sustained positive cash flow generation has enabled a significant reduction of the leverage of the company, with a reduction of 25% of the net debt in 2016 up to 523 million euros reached at year-end. Now I will focus on the developments in the framework of the operative transformation plan as a part of the progressive structural improvement of the company. This operational transformation is focused on achieving a management of the operation more in alignment with the priorities of the company, seeking efficiency and excellency in the overall cycle of projects. In what concerns efficiency, the priority point of attention of the restructuring of the company, the results that I mentioned earlier are a good sample of the tangible impact of these measures. In what concerns planning and management of our employees, we have better resources management, more in alignment with business requirements. In a company such as ours, which is intensive in highly qualified personnel, it is essential to have the right resources to execute operations in an optimal manner. We have decided to renew the function of human resources with new tools and procedures for better management of resources. As regards our own products, we have initiated a number of initiatives for rationalizing the portfolio and to improve the management thereof. Firstly, we have made a deep review of our product range in order to enhance those with greater added value in an updated catalog for each one of our business lines. Accordingly, we have updated the roadmap and the investment plan and deployed several actions for reinforcing the protection of intellectual property and the rights of Indra for our products. Finally, we have established new transversal or horizontal teams and committee products in the markets for the management, evolution, and maintenance of the catalog. In close relationship to the review of the portfolio of the company, we are improving the efficiency and competitiveness of our model of delivery and production. In the IT segment, we're moving towards a model of delocalized delivery in the standardization and packetization of our products. We are also adapting our IT offers to the growing developments in automation and artificial intelligence that will drive the sector towards new levels of efficiency. On the other hand, the transport and defense sector, we have carried out a full review throughout the productive chain for designing better industrialization, optimization of the supply chain, and contract policies, as well as in the review of processes, among others. A key element in the operational transformation of the company is the deep review and improvement of the company mechanisms to manage project risks in the offer as well as in the execution stages. In the initial stage, those with higher relevance due to volume or risk profile are subject to the approval of the Offers Committee as well as the Management Committee of the company. In the execution phase, we have implemented new tools to improve control of operations. This Committee of Execution and Delivery is ensuring better control of the execution, following up critical operations and plans for mitigation risks. In the organization level, we have consolidated a new operation model between geographic areas that clearly defines the responsibilities of each actor and contributes to a better control of operations, as well as strengthening and simplifying our response capabilities. Finally, in the geographic area, we wish to emphasize the big efforts of the restructuring in the strategic regions for the company, particularly Latin America and Brazil, where we had concentrated most of the difficulties and imbalances that we have been facing. This restructuring has led to an important reduction of staff in the region, as well to a reduction in the number of companies, regrouping locations and offices, and aggressively adjusting corporate and commercial costs. I would like to emphasize the development and the visible results of the restructurings of our subsidiary in Brazil, which in the first quarter of 2017 has a positive EBIT margin of 0.5% after recording in 2015 an EBIT of 181 million negative euros. In the same line, 5 of the 7 costly projects are finalists or have been cancelled. So, in summary, and to finish, the transformation of 2015 is being substantiated in tangible impacts as shown by the 2016 results. However, we will continue to work in the line to optimize our operations as well as new initiatives started in the past few months, mainly the integration of Tecnocom, that is one of the main challenges of the company in the short and mid-term. Together with the CEO of Tecnocom, we are leading the integration committee work, which supervises the process and the development of integration teams that are working in this area. Now, the integration of Tecnocom should not lead us to lose focus in maintaining maximum efficiency in our businesses. We still have a long way to go to improve competitiveness of operations, which must continue driving the company towards new profitability levels. Thank you very much.
Buenos días, de nuevo. Bienvenidos.
Good morning once again, and welcome to this AGM. It is a satisfaction to me to address to you to make a balance of what 2016 has meant for Indra, sharing the actions and initiatives that we took on this year, and to tell you about the prospects for the future of the company. In 2016, Indra has strengthened, improved profitability and the cash flow generation of its businesses. We have been undergoing changes for 2 years, taking necessary decisions for the transformation of the company and setting the background for a growth of well-ordered, sustainable and profitable growth. This year, we started to see the fruits of some of our results. As the CEO has explained in detail, I would like to emphasize a few areas. We've had a gradual improvement in the competitiveness and profitability of the company with a restructuring plan, which is finalized virtually. We have improved the operational margins, and EBIT has reached 6%. Contracts have also have also grown 6% in local currency. The company is generating a positive cash flow in a recurrent manner, and the generation of cash flow in the year has reached 184 million euros. Indra has deleveraged significantly. The net debt ratio as regards EBITDA at end 2016 has gone down 2.3 times vis-à-vis the 5.4 times in December 2015. However, the challenges are still large, and the environment in which we operate is highly competitive. The macroeconomic context in our key geographies are still not totally favorable, and the capacity of investment of our clients in relevant countries are affected by the price of raw materials, particularly crude oil. All this, we have extreme competitiveness in technology, where our clients are suffering the effects of growing demands by users and consumers, a dynamic of competition. All these challenges require us to continue making our efforts to the transformation and to continue working to improve the profitability of our businesses. In this context, we have our takeover bid for Technocom, which took place recently, and the integration of which is one of the main challenges. In the past extraordinary general meeting of February, we broadly explained the reasons that justified the offer by Technocom, which in summary were the improvement of the operative leveraging that's translated into high potential of operative synergies, and the possibility of obtaining income synergies derived from better competitive positioning, base of clients, and offers, particularly in financial services. An adequate integration will mean an important driver for Indra. With this acquisition, we have created a Spanish company as leader in IT with 3.2 billion euros billing and the main supplier in Spain of technological solutions. The process of integration has already begun. We are deploying the first phases of the corporate structures and business structures. The integration teams are working to ensure the synergies. And throughout the process, it is essential to maintain our focus on the attention to clients and ensuring excellency of our services and projects. We also must pay special attention to the management of people, talent, and expectations. Both Indra and Telecom are companies based on knowledge. We would like to emphasize that we value very positively the experience and capacities of the management team of Technocom, and we do not think it necessary to initiate any collective bargaining process. The tangible results of the integration will not be immediate, but they will reach when we execute the various stages and substantiating synergies. We undertake to report in an updated manner the shareholders and employees about the evolution of this integration. In the past AGM, I gave you the number of initiatives to transform the company as part of our strategic plan 2015-2016, including cost reduction initiatives, offers portfolio, business strategy and go-to-market, and cultural change. In 2016, we have concluded many of the actions we initiated and started new ones. I would like to review the development of the most relevant initiatives. As regards the cost reduction and improvement of competitiveness, this is where we have focused most of our more visible actions since 2015. In the HR area, we have carried out a restructuring, which finished in 2016 and allowed us to recover part of our competitiveness and gradually improve the margins in Latin America mainly. We continue making headway with the cost reduction plan, with the redefinition of processes of purchases and supply management with greater transparency and competitiveness as regards products and solutions. And after reviewing the map of offer in various markets, we have established transformation plans that allow us to advance in all the standardization of processes of our end-to-end solutions and to drive our own products, both in transport and defense and IT. We have also deployed a commercial strategy that has substantiated itself in ambitious marketing plans to reinforce relationships with our large accounts and identifying new clients. As regards transformation and efficiency of operations, our global model of operations is evolving towards a more competitive mix, introducing standardization, industrialization, and lean optimization as well. In the area of processes, one of the initiatives that is related to the new organization operation model for the corporate functions of India that is called the Global Business Services Project, GBS, which was submitted to your approval in last year's AGM. This GBS has involved the transformation of the corporate businesses of functions of India. This has, we have established 2 shared services centers in Spain and Mexico. When we complete the reorganization process of our company, we also want to enhance the potential of our businesses. In this regard, together with traditional business, we maintain the focus and effort in the deployment and consolidation of Minsight, which, as you may recall, is the business unit of Indra that brings together the technology and consultancy solutions in digital transformation. Minsight is developing a large, broad portfolio of business solutions focused on the generation of impact and developing a specific expertise in issues such as cybersecurity, big data, Internet of Things, or Industry 4.0. A combination of knowledge of the industry, of the clients, and different digital technologies will allow us to reach, to multiply our capacity of reaching new clients and projects. That could be accelerated with the inorganic opportunities which may fit in with our strategy. In addition, as announced past year, we have implemented successfully a new open innovation model that aspires to enhance the ability to generate and capture potentially attractive ideas. So we have established a new unit that is called Indra Ventures that will channel relationships, opportunities, analysis, and investment in the entrepreneurial ecosystem. So the previous initiatives can only be executed with a cultural change to drive new principles, values, and procedures. A culture which emphasizes on focusing our work to increase profitability and cash flow generation, drive technological leadership of our products and solutions through our focus on innovation, aspire to excellence in management and operational efficiency, cultivate a culture of integrity and responsibility in the execution of projects, and recognize the results and the talent of our employees and providing them career plans, training plans, and remuneration adapted to their contribution.
The most critical factor for the business is everything related to people, and in particular with the need to attract and keep talent from the best professionals. We have had essential initiatives such as the corporate university and some career plans for the different professional groups and the talent recruitment for junior employees, and we are trying to get 2,000 new junior professionals to develop their careers with us here and then in America. We have implemented improvement for remuneration at all levels, even for the board and the directive committee, and this is useful for us to improve our professional environment with transparency, professionalism, and results orientation. In risk management and effective control of projects, correction has been decisive, and it's had a large impact. The new mechanism and proceedings are reaching their goal, and we have a more quality portfolio, and we are mitigating structurally the risk of new failure projects. We have strengthened the risk management system of the society with a specific unit for risk management, reporting directly the Council Audit Commission. Finally, I would like to highlight the momentum of the compliance culture in Indra over the past few years. In 2016, we have launched several information campaigns and also some online and non-online campaigns informing on compliance in every aspect. To sum up, we have made major advances with our plan, and we are having a positive transformation. However, if we look back, we would see and realize that it's important to remember that the strategic plan presented in July 2015 was necessarily focused on the diagnosis of the back then difficult situation and the cash flow in the company, and it was aiming at defining, setting up the new keys for the new trends, especially in the IT business that made up most of our problems. As a consequence, the plan focused on the necessary measures to revert the company situation and recover the stakeholders' trust. The company is moving forward in the right direction now, and we believe, therefore, that it's important to come up with a strategic horizon in the midterm to design new sources to create and add value through a new strategic plan. In a technological environment, in a very complicated environment where technologies are accelerating, we need to think on the likely evolution of our businesses in the midterm, what future technologies we need to invest on, what solutions should we come up with and develop, and what's the organization model which will allow us to do this much better. The new plan should tackle the challenges from both businesses we have in Indra. On the one hand, the IT, and on the other hand, transport and defense. Regarding the IT market, major transformations have been carried out, as said in the previous meeting and in this meeting as well, and we should keep going this way and focus towards the most valuable areas where we can grow. Regarding defense and security, there are opportunities to improve in the present and the future. The challenge now is to harness the growth potential and the geostrategic context for defense and security, and the goal is modernization and improvement of our operating abilities and skills and business skills in order to keep reinforcing our abilities and skills in defense for the new century. We have to highlight the transformation process for defense. It started last year with a large program to rearrange the manufacturing system in September 2016. Since December 2016, we have a new manager for production to improve the supply chain and manufacturing processes. In this new scheme, we also have an increase in defense and security, especially in those technologies that have to do with our leadership in radars, electronic defense, command and control. Recently, we have appointed a new director with a highly technological profile that will allow us to face the new challenges successfully. In order to successfully make this plan, we are undergoing a new project along with the Council and the team of directors, and we are also listening to experts providing us with new points of view. Next autumn, we will share the results of our strategies and our proposals and the results with stakeholders and investors. Parallel to this, as mentioned by the CEO, we are aiming at meeting our goals for 2017. Our goals are very demanding, and they are our priority for all the Indra and Technocom teams. We are also working in a macro context that's still facing some barriers, and we are still focused on our clients to meet their needs. And at the same time, we need to persevere and be very attentive of costs both inside Spain and outside. We will present the results of the first semester very soon. I would like to highlight the importance of having a sturdy system of corporate governance. And I will refer to the initiatives and the actions taken since the last meeting. We have approved a new regulation, internal regulation, regarding the value markets as the renovation criteria for the executives related to the non-renewal, someone who has had 3 consecutive mandates. We propose not to re-elect Isabel Aguilera and Rosa Sugrañez, and at the same time we thank them for their services over the past few years. We have also applied the current selection policy and the collaboration policy for external advisors. We also have applied gender diversity criteria in order to promote diversity among the members of the board. The selected persons have been Iranzo y Rotondo, and their appointment is suggested in this meeting. We also have an independent firm collaborating and reviewing the remuneration policy for executives, compliant with the Good Governance Code and the Capital Act, Corporate Capital Act. We are compliant with a new remuneration policy for 2018-2020 under the same terms and conditions as we have currently. Applying the transparency principle informing the corporate governance system, during the reference periods we have kept a communication policy, a very active one, with our investors and stakeholders and the proxy advisors, and we're informing them about the corporate decisions, Technocom and other actions taking on convertible bonuses, etc., as well as the current status and compliance in the society as said previously. As you could read in our report published in April this year, along with other reports, the level of compliance is very high, and there is a non-compliance of 1 recommendation out of 64. It is recommendation number 48, the Appointment Commission separated from the Remuneration Commission. The Society Indra thought it was not appropriate to separate both commissions because it is understood that it is not justified due to the number of issues we have to deal with every year, and it would unnecessarily expand the amount of the workload we have to deal with. A few years ago, I told you that we are well aware of the barriers, but we have a vision for the future and a clear roadmap to transform the company. We have started seeing the fruits of the actions taken, but there's still a long way to go, and our success has not, or our improvements have not been linearly increasing, but we are more profitable than we were, and we are aspiring to improve and have more ambitious goals for the future. We are at a turning point where we are closing a restructuring stage, and before us there is a new space for new opportunities, and we need to be ready to be successful here. It is a very exciting moment for a company such as us, which is at the core of the investors' interest and at the core of the society interest as a whole. We need to make difficult decisions in a tough environment with much uncertainty, but we have solid foundations to begin a new stage. Our shares have improved, have raised, and this is a positive result that will remain so this year in 2017, because we have increased by 23% as opposed to 15% in average for IBEX 35. Let me conclude by expressing by thanking all the professionals and all the teams that are working really hard in a very tough environment to improve our company every single day. And I would like to thank all of you for your trust one more year. Thank you very much. I now give the floor to Mr. Secretary to give the floor in turn to shareholders. There is a request of intervention by Melanie Gervois. Did I pronounce it correctly?
Gracias. Buenos días. Soy Melanie Gervoise.
I speak on behalf of the COBAS trade union, a trade union of workers who is maintained exclusively from the work and the installments paid by their members. And we don't have any subsidy, and we will always support any action that we deem of interest for workers. We would like to take this advantage to communicate directly with you to share some aspects of Indra which concern us. We are most concerned by the employment regulation procedure of last year. And let's see how it ends up. We would like to give a message to the signatories of said agreement. On the one hand, the trade unions who have signed, because the first agreement was to make a referendum for each agreement, and this was signed without said referendum among the staff. And on the other hand, the company, because if the losses were true, someone should be made responsible at the top level instead of rewarding them and getting the workers to pay for these losses. The committee requested a negotiation table to discuss wage increases, but Indra very quickly dismissed this request. We have been many years without increases, but you, members of the board, your wages have increased 17% in 2 years on average. Meanwhile, you made an employment regulation procedure because, according to you, the only solution to save the company was to do away with 1,700 workers. Other employees who did not even make 40,000 euros, they were offered a 20% decrease. So, on average, you increased your own retribution 17%. Mr. Martorell, according to the annual accounts of 2016, Indra earned 1.91 million euros without counting the 465,000 euros of the early retirement plan. You earn 90 times more than me. In other words, I would have to work 2 complete labor lives to earn what you earn in 1 year. And don't get me wrong, it's not that I want you to earn less, but I want myself and our colleagues to earn more. We are the force that moves Indra. If you have profits, it is because we are professional in our efforts and our over-effort in many occasions. We are less technicians, less and less technicians, and we work with more tight schedules, according to which the only way to bring projects forward is with unpaid extra hours. So when promotions come, we should be given a reward, but the majority of cases that acknowledgement is kept by top managers. In the progressions and promotions published this year attest to that. We would have to start by having a hierarchical pyramid. Right now, we are just a square, one manager, many consultants, many project leaders, and a few technicians. It is impossible in this way for the profits to revert back to us. And if so many managers are needed to manage a product, we should have less managers. We have a tool for negotiations which are being done right now after half of the year has gone by. This tool evaluates objectives with percentage, and on this basis you get a promotion or not. It would be more logical that if you have 100% of your objectives fulfilled, you should be given a promotion. But as we're good professionals and we all fulfill those objectives, the scores had to be diminished. So I had 76% as a score, and I got only 31. So apart from the billing objectives, we are meeting these games, and we want you to have a commitment to the plan of the company to update the CV every 6 months, to allocate the extra hours, to be available to participate in selection processes, to facilitate the inclusion of new professionals, to learn and evolve, to attend training etc. Do you really think that all these goals will improve us as professionals? Wouldn't it be better, instead of qualifying us to update our CD or to participate in an event, this was made on the basis of the work we have carried out, on the basis of client satisfaction? Because in this way we would remove the subjectivity in the assessments, because we know beforehand who will be promoted without having the results of said assessments. In any case, you can tell us or not how this will be measured objectively, but we would like to point out that many of these objectives are not functions of the categories of the agreements, of the labor agreements, categories which are not modified with the passage of time. We are many who, after 10 years, continue to be in the same category of the payroll. After 10 years, 4 consultations, 2 modifications showing my graduate title, a couple of emails, and 1 call, I continue to be a junior programmer. And I'm not a program, and I'm not a junior. So if after 10 years you think that my category is junior programmer, the best thing you can do is fire me, because it means that I'm useless for this work. Finally, we would like to point out the lack of equality in the contracts for men and women. There's a clear example in the board. There are only 2 women, and none of them is at this table. In the management posts, we only account for 22%. In the payroll, we have over twice the amount of men than of women, and this becomes worse because in the course of this year, 3 times more men have been engaged more than women. So in the employment regulation, 1.4 men were fired for each woman. But the ratio is 1-to-1. If we have so much inequality in the contracts, there's a lot of parity in dismissals. Even the trade unions reported that many female workers were being dismissed, mainly due to part-time work. Many of these women didn't have a wage of 1,000 euros, but they did have a reduced work time. And this is a problem for many managers and colleagues who don't realize that this part-time work is a reduction in the wage as well. And more education is needed in this area. We are convinced that if you substitute the current policy of unilateral imposition by the company by another based on dialogue and negotiation with a legal representation of workers, we would be able to reach agreements on important issues such as employment, salary, conciliation. This would be a positive outlook for the workers, shareholders, and managers. To do this, we have to stop diminishing our wages, taking production out to cheaper countries, among other things, because what you are, the profits that you are having now, you will have to spend in the future to foster the education of your own children. Thank you very much.
Muchas gracias, doña Melanie. La verdad es que no sé muy bien decirlo. Gerbois.
Thank you very much, Melanie Gerbois.
Bueno, yo siento mucho que.
Well, I am very sorry that the successive requests, the lawsuits that have been filed for the employment regulation procedures have been dismissed even by the Supreme Court. So I always think it is important to maintain a communication, open communication, but just like you send aggressive messages, I think you should also convey the messages to your members when you lose lawsuits, because this does not help an agreeable working environment or good relationships with the management. I am happy that the very difficult employment regulation initiative that we started, which is, I don't like these employment regulation procedures, but The law has, the courts have proved us right in a sentence that is important. As regards this ERE, this employment regulation, the arguments of the economical and legal arguments are mixed up. When the company has gone from a loss of 3.7 billion euros to profits, well, many things are mixed up there. We've had a very important impact in non-recurrent assets that were reported and communicated, and Indra had a loss of 640 million euros, and it had also a cash flow crisis, which is not subjective. It was a very negative cash flow situation, so it was a number of data that we gave abundantly to the trade union, to the Works Council, and this employment regulation was confirmed as legal by the law courts, and we're happy that it has finished. Now, this made 70% of the people who left the company were left voluntarily. So that is behind us, and now we are focused on growth. As regards wage increases, we scrupulously comply with the law and the agreements and all regulations, so we have many employees that are above their scheduled wages. We would like to have more of them with better wages. The trade unions have requested us to open conversations about productivity and see if we can transform productivity increases into better wages. We are willing to do this because this is the way to evolve. Having said that, as I said in my speech, we want a retribution and compensation personalized, specific to the contribution of each individual, and we will bring in changes year after year to fine-tune these retribution systems for everybody, including the members of the board and the steering committee. Now, the board has not only increased its wages, but has diminished them 20%. That was 2 years ago. And in my case, my fixed payment hasn't increased at all. In fact, I diminished it also 22% vis-à-vis the contract I signed when I came on board. And we have had a change past the last year for all the company and variable results, because in 2015 we had a fulfillment of 40%. In 2016 was 89%. So that explains the increase of the variable retribution, myself and other members of the board who have this retribution scheme. As regards female employment, I would like to see a higher percentage of women as well in the management levels of the company. This has been analyzed. There is no discrimination whatsoever. We can always improve gender sensitivity, but there is nothing in the selection processes that may discriminate gender at all, as in what concerns access to management positions in Indra. So, for me and for the board, we would like to see a higher percentage of women way. So thank you very much again for your contribution. The Secretary will report on the final quorum.
I inform hereby that we have already finished the counting of the cards, and the definite quorum is as follows. Shareholders 173, they hold 34 million shares, which is 19.9% of the capital. The represented shareholders, 1,076 shares, 91 million holders, 51%, which amounts to 1,252, holding 126 million, 71%. I now give the floor to Mr. Notary. I have a question regarding the question about the reservations or complaints regarding the figures. If you don't have any reservations or complaints, we can proceed. Thank you. Mr. Secretary, I inform hereby to the shareholders that according to the delegation proceedings of the representation approved by the Board Committee as detailed by the call of this general call, this voting delegation chosen by the nominative, without the nominative, it's been considered granted in favor of the Secretary of the Board, which is the Secretary of the meeting, and according to the calls and the advertisements for the call, we have open the channels to access the right to vote and done by proxies as duly accounted by the attendance quorum referred before as announced in the call announcement under Articles 123, 526 of the Capital Law. We state that if the representative is a corporate representative, they could have a conflict of interest according to the several points in the legislation and the order on the agenda, as well as the agreement proposals and other aspects that are not included in the agenda but can still voted by this board. And regarding the proxies, the proxy and the administration, we will apply the rules established in the announcement, computing the remote voting and the rest of the things we had to account for. The result is that every point in the agenda will be approved with a majority of votes in favor, and the results will figure in the minutes and will be published in the corporate website as set forth by the Corporate Capital Act. If you want to know any details, you can, they're available for you because you can find all the information in the system. For the vote counting, only the shareholders who want to vote against shall come to the voting table available at the end of the room for every voting, and they will be identified. Under Article 197b of the Capital Corporate Law, we will approve the following. And we state that there has been no request of voting differently from what was included in the agenda. So we move on to the to vote on the agreements on the agenda. Point number 1. Assessing and approving the annual accounts or financial statement as of the 31st of September 2016, to approve the financial statements and the management reports of Indra for what's applied by the corporation, note 38 of the individual annual memory, which is part of the management report. We detail hereby the commitments taken by the corporation, including the members of the board, for the extinction of the contractual relationship. And with the annual statement, account statement, the yearly profit is 82 million. Number 2, to approve the yearly account regarding the related to the what was closed on the 31st of December 2016. If any shareholders wishes to vote against or do abstention, they can do it now. Vote has been computed and it's therefore approved with enough majority. Point number 2, approving the proposal of application of results 2016. The yearly accounts regarding the results, the profit results after taxes is 82 million, and as you can see on the documents we are reading. If any shareholders wishes to vote against, they can do it now at the voting table. Having computed the votes, this is approved with enough majority. Point number 3, approving the administration, Council of the board management. To approve the board management activities is as of the 31st of December 2016. If you wish to vote against or do abstention, you can do it now at the voting table. Having computed the votings, it is therefore approved with enough majority. Point number 4, appointment and re-election of members of the board. As provided by the Corporate Capital Act, the proposals today are separately voted. And according to the proposals and the Commission, appointment as a board member, Silvia Iranzo Gutiérrez. The identification data will be available. If you wish to vote against or do abstention, you can do it now. Having computed the votes, they are approved. Next point, appointing María Rotondo Urcola as an independent advisor. Everything is available at the trade registry. Having computed the votings, it is therefore now approved to re-elect as councillor or advisor Ignacio Santillana del Barrio. You will find all the information available at the trade registry. If you wish to vote against, please do it now at the voting table. It is therefore now approved with enough majority. 4.4, to re-elect as advisor Mr. Juan Carlos Aparicio Pérez. The relevant information will be available at the trade registry. If you wish to vote against, you can do it now at the voting table. It is therefore now approved with enough majority. 4.5, to re-elect as an advisor Mr. Adolfo Menéndez Menéndez. All the relevant information will be made available for you at the trade registry. If you wish to vote again, you can do it now at the voting table. Having computed the votes, this is approved with enough majority. To re-elect as advisor, Mr. Executive Advisor Javier de Andrés González. The relevant information will be made available at the trade registry, and if any shareholder wants to vote against, you can do it now at the voting table. It is therefore approved by a majority. We would like to kindly ask the people appointed to go to the notary to express their approval of their appointment. Point number 5, delegation in favor of the board of directors. Incluso mediante la emisión de acciones rescatables y con atribución de la facultad de excluir el derecho de exclusión preferente, en cuyo caso las ampliaciones de capital que se realicen al amparo de la presente delegación no podrán superar el 20% del capital social en el momento de la autorización por la Junta General de Accionistas. The capital expansion will not go beyond 20% of the social capital at the moment of the authorization of the shareholders' meetings, as stated in point number 6 in the agenda. Unless you have any objection, we will approve the text made available for you when we announce the calling for the meeting. So it's now approved, and if any shareholders wish to vote against, you can do it now. It is therefore now approved.
Point 6, delegation to the board with the power substitution to issue bonds or simple convertible bonds, as well as other fixed assets equity, warrants, or any other instruments giving a right to the acquisition of new emission shares. The authorization comprises the delegation of powers to assess the basis and modes of conversion, increase the social capital in the amount necessary to attend the conversion requests for a maximum amount of 20% of the company capital. If any shareholders has any objection, we will take this text as read. If any shareholders wishes to vote against, he can do so right now. As per the established vote, this is approved by sufficient majority. Point 6, consultative vote of our annual report on remunerations of board members. As per Article 27 of the company bylaws and Article 541 of the Companies Act, to improve the annual remuneration report for 2016 that was prepared by the board by proposal of the Committee of Appointments and Retributions. This is submitted to consultative voting of the board. If any shareholders wishes to vote against or abstain, he can do so now. As per the votes approved, this is approved by sufficient majority. Point 8, approval of the remunerations policy as per the specific report prepared by the Appointments and Retribution Commissions in accordance with the Article 529 of the Capital Companies Act to approve the remuneration policies of Indra for 2018, 19 and 20. This policy establishes a maximum amount of the annual remuneration as per Article 529 of the Companies Act. If any shareholders wishes to vote against or abstain, he can do so now. As per the counted votes, this is approved by sufficient majority. 9 and last, authorization and delegation of powers for formalization, registration and execution of the agreements adopted by the board. To delegate in the President of the Board and the Vice President, Secretary of the Board and the Vice President, so that any of them can formalize and raise to public the agreements adopted by the meeting, and particularly for the interpretation, execution and development thereof. This ability will comprise the possibility of making amendments and additions as necessary, also responding requirements by regulators. If any shareholders wishes to vote against, can do so now. As per the vote count, this is approved by sufficient majority. In the view of the results, all the agreements submitted to this meeting are approved and the session is adjourned. Thank you very much.